keep swatching, just keep swatching. Hello and welcome. I'm Lindsay Crane and these are my retro craft dreams. Cue the cat. There he is. Hi cat. I have been looking forward to this day for a while. So, holiday decorations are put away and I finally have my table back so I can get back to my knitting machine. My plan for today is just to do some swatches. Now, there's a lot of yarns that I've been concerned about going on this being able to use on this knitting machine. While I want to like swatch everything and see how it all works up, of course I'm not going to unravel balls for yarns that I'm not ready to use and that I don't have patterns for. And I'm probably only going to be using this for things that are in stockinette. But I do have a couple stockinette projects in mind for some really basic yarn that I have. So we are going to swatch those up, see how they work up in different key plates, and find out whether some of them can even be used on this machine. And the heat's gonna come on, I apologize, but it's cold out there today. I guess I have five different yarns that I'm going to swatch up. When I broke out this knitting machine for the very first time, I used the yarn that it came with, which is this Caron premium acrylic, really crummy yarn. And the swatch looked nice on camera, but it was really stiff and it kind of held a wave to it. So as bad as this yarn is, I do actually have something in mind that I might try and use it for. So I'm going to do some swatches in the next key plate up and see if that helps the drape of this fabric. Additionally, I have some plain old Red Heart Super Saver that was gonna be for the same project as that blue yarn. However, I did realize they are actually different thicknesses. This blue is thicker by a little bit than the Super Saver. We're gonna swatch that, we're gonna see how that looks. And then I have another project that I need to go back to with my Coboo yarn. So this isn't the color I'm using for that. This is just one I had handy. Actually, maybe I will get a different color. We're gonna swatch up the Coboo and see if that works, which I am really concerned about and interested in because it's really splitty. So this will be a good test to see if it can manage that kind of splitty yarn. It is also a finer weight than those, so we'll try out that different key plate. I've also been swatching in some Lion Brand Homespun for some basic leg warmers. It's a stash buster project that I'm gonna make some leg warmers with. And so I was swatching on my straight needles, but now I want to see if this knitting machine can handle Lion Brand Homespun yarn, because it is a very textured yarn and kind of bulky. Might not be able to do the job, but if it can, these leg warmers will go much faster. We're gonna swatch it with this little bit so that I don't have to pull that apart just yet. And finally, I have also been swatching this really rough, possibly hand spun wool. I have a project in mind for it, and it's the pattern that I want to use this for. I think it calls for a sport weight, and this is more of a fingering weight. I swatched it as that and didn't get anywhere near what I needed to be. So now I'm swatching it double, and it really hurts my fingers and causes me to knit differently. You can see I'm like rowing out really bad. Well, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but although held double, it actually still isn't getting gauge. It's now too big. And if I knit tighter, it's probably gonna be too stiff, but I'm still gonna see how it turns out on this knitting machine. And if I can use the knitting machine on this, because this wool hurts my hands. A single strand of this wool would probably go fine, but I don't know how it's gonna handle a double strand, and it is not only rough to my hands, but it is also just pretty stiff. So yeah, we're just gonna see how it goes. So that's the plan, and I don't know how much of that you heard because the heat is going and this cat's motor is going. This cat is so loud. We got all the swatching to do. I'm gonna make them small because I really need to get this done quickly. Mostly it's proof of concept. I need to know if this machine can handle these yarns. And in the case of the wool, what gauge can I get with this machine? I'm sure you can hear him. So I haven't looked at this since the first time. So I'm gonna have to refresh my memory a little bit on how to do it and get the cat off of that box in a second. Okay, so we need that page and some more coffee. These guys, I need those. And I need, hey, knock it off. Hey, what? Seriously? All right, key plates. And I need to, now he goes. The insult. I want to swap out the key plate for the next size up for that one. So that one was done on number 3. Now, which one is for bulkier stuff? Is it 4? Do the numbers go up? Or do the numbers go down? Okay, key plate 4 is for chunkier mohair. Here we are. Need to wax it up. I got out the wax, right? All right, so we got 20 stitches. Just go. Yeah, let's just go. Nope, that's not it. Oh, because I have to put the needles into working position. Hello. Hello, McFly. Clip my tail to my elastic. Nope, it don't like that. I think it's the elastic at the end that it doesn't like. Might have dropped a stitch. That's why I need practice. I'm not gonna worry about drop stitches right now. I just need to know how this is gonna work out. It's a hot mess, but at least it's a fast hot mess. I think that's actually going to be enough for this one. It still feels pretty stiff. Hang on. I'm not going to worry about securing the ends of these swatches. I'm just gonna pull them off. I'm just gonna handle them really gently because, as I said, I'm not keeping any of these swatches. I'm just investigating and re-caking them later. So we're just gonna pull these off and let it relax a little, and then I can do the next one. I don't know how I feel about using elastic on this bit. Like, I wonder why it has elastic for this. Okay, so first swatch, it's still not really very drapey. So I do think a lot of it is just the yarn, but it's a nice looking fabric, and I think for what I want to do, it would be fine. Anyway, okay, there's one swatch down. We are going to measure and compare them all later, but I need to untangle it from this machine. Next up, we're gonna do some Super Saver. Now this one probably does want the number 3 key plate because that's what worsted gets. These stickers that I was so excited about sticking on this don't stay stuck. Now I need to switch back to key plate number 3. I'm assuming that's still waxed up from last time. I'm gonna go with it. Okay, and away we go. Okay, gonna clip this here. Oh, this works much. Oh. Y'all, this is so much smoother than that blue crab. Look at that, no struggle. Oh no, I lost a... Oh no, I didn't lose stitches. I just, yeah, did that thing it does. More yarn. Oh, I went the wrong way. So again, I don't care about that right now. That went so fast. I got so excited. I want to see, except now I've lost 2 more stitches, what this looks like on a different key plate. So I'm going to put these back on. I'm going to go down a key plate. This is still going smoothly. Y'all, I can see the change in gauge. So it does do something. I also see that I dropped a couple more stitches than I realized. Let's just stop there. We've got 2 different gauges here and it made a really big difference. Wow. Here we are. Never mind the snags and the mistakes, but yeah, that is a really big difference in gauge. So that's good to know. Successful experiment on the Red Heart Super Saver. I have no idea what this shot looks like. I just quickly turned the camera. Okay, so my next swatch up is already a tangled mess. Coboo. So I got this mauve color so that, is that what it is? Yeah, mauve. So hopefully it will show up on camera a little bit better. We're gonna start with the number 2 key plate, but I have a feeling it's gonna want the number 1. So we're just gonna do a little bit of the swatch on the number 2 and then we'll switch key plates and see how that does. Now this is the one, this yarn is really, really splitty. So this is the one I'm curious to see how that works. Although now that I've felt how easy it is with the Super Saver, compared to how hard it was to maneuver, to move with that Caron, I feel more confident this is gonna go smoothly. Okay, this last stitch is not working right. I didn't anchor that. That might be why. Okay, let's switch key plates. What happened here? Is that where I put the thing on? Maybe, I think I pulled it tighter. Think that's far enough? It was a quick shot. Okay, so that went really smoothly. I'm gonna let it relax. I'm a little skeptical that it's actually gonna meet the gauge that I need. So now we're gonna look at the tricky one of the Lion Brand Homespun. We're gonna start right away with key plate number 4. I can pretty much guarantee it's not gonna work in any other key plate. Okay, we are set up. Moment of truth. Let me just make sure there's plenty unraveled. I'm really skeptical that this is gonna work, but let's find out. Oh, yeah, that one's difficult. Let me pin this, clip this. It is knitting it. Ooh, got a little stuck there. Okay, that looks so good. That works. I can do that. Now I need to check gauge. That's exciting. It actually works with Homespun. So now we just have one more swatch to make, and that is with the wool. Now, I probably should do 2 swatches, one as a single strand and one as a double strand. I'm going to start with the double though and just see where that gets me, because I really want to know if that can work, because that's kind of what I think I'm going to need for this project I have in mind for it. Because if the gauge is too big, I can make the smaller size of this piece and then let it just be a little bit bigger that way. But the gauge being too small, no. So I'm gonna set this up and we're gonna go for one more ride. Nope. 3rd row and we are jammed completely. It did not like that. Let's try that again. I think it's like missing stitches with one yarn and not the other. Nope. We are stuck in the exact same place that we got stuck the first time. I'll try it one more time double strand at the next key plate size. I think that gauge is gonna be too big for my project, but we're just gonna see what happens. Oops, that didn't go well. Oh my God. Well, I got past the halfway mark on the 3rd row, which I didn't do the last 2 times. Nope. Nope. Oh, nope. Okay. It's official. This cannot do double strand yarn. I may have to investigate, but I think it's more likely that it just doesn't know how to handle 2 strands of yarn. Let's see what that looks like with 1 strand. At least I can get that gauge. Same place. One needle is bouncing too far backwards. I'm gonna go down a key plate. Yeah, I did something wrong there. What did I do? Didn't get those stitches at all. Well, I could loop them in, but you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. Maybe. Okay, so it doesn't like this gauge for this yarn either. Maybe I did something wrong, but yeah, I'm gonna call this one a fail for now. Well, that was an adventure actually. Biggest lesson I learned today: don't get super excited at how well it's working and go so fast that you forget to watch for dropping those edge stitches. Because I did get excited a couple times. So far, this machine does have its limitations with what kinds of yarn that it can work with. But those limitations are not what I thought it was going to be. I really thought it was going to struggle with the textured yarn of the Lion Brand Homespun. Did all right with that. It was a little harder to push, but not really that terrible. Where it struggled was actually with stiff yarn, which isn't really something that's going to come up very often because usually we want nice soft yarns. I'm going to have to do some more investigating on different ways to get this machine to do what I want. Or maybe I need to find a way to spin some yarn and just ply this. If I can ply it, it'll still be stiff, but I can at least give it a go. So I'm really excited. There are definitely going to be some possibilities with this machine. Because my experience the first time around was with a stiff yarn and I was struggling with it at times. And knowing that it's the stiffness of the yarn that gives this machine its trouble is encouraging. So that means that, you know, when I have my Coboo project, it should go a lot smoother. Now I am worried about the fineness, about the matching gauge. I've only got 4 options for meeting gauge of a pattern here. I'm gonna let these relax and then measure them and see how they actually turned out and what kind of gauges I got. All right, here are all of my swatches all pinned out, and it's actually a really pretty palette. Now, I didn't actually block anything. 3 of them are acrylic and probably wouldn't matter. I already know that Coboo grows a little bit, and the wool I tried at the last minute, but I don't know, it's still wet, so whatever. In this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stitches for 2 inches. And then on this one, we actually had 2 different key plates. Let's start with the bigger one. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. And then down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. And this is one of the big takeaways here. These 2 very visibly different gauges are 1 key plate apart. So the range of gauge on this machine is pretty narrow. I've got 4 options, and they can be that big of a difference. However, on the Coboo, I know I switched key plates there, and I can't actually tell. I think it's here. They look slightly tighter in this area than down here, but the stitches don't actually look that much bigger. So that's a little bit disappointing that at least with sizes like that, I'm not going to be able to refine my gauge very much. And I can already tell you, the thing I was hoping to use Coboo for on this machine was 13 stitches for 2 inches. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 2 different key plates here gained me half a stitch in 2 inches. So that would be what, 1 extra stitch for a 4-inch swatch. It's a huge difference between these 2 key plates for that yarn, and barely any difference at all between these 2 key plates for that yarn. Let's see what the wool got. 9.5 stitches. Now for the really tricky one, the bulky yarn that I can't see stitches on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, we got 6 stitches per 2 inches. This one is the most disappointing, and that means that any fine slinky yarns, I can't go any finer on that. I hope this was useful to you. Even though it felt anticlimactic, it was still pretty fun to make. As I'm looking through some of my knitting patterns to determine what could be made on this baby right here, besides looking for sweaters that are in stockinette, I can also know what gauges to narrow my search down to. Because these really fine gauges, it can't do. I might need an entirely different machine to go to a finer gauge than what I have here. I really wanted to make some leg warmers in this video, but then I remembered that not only do I need to calculate the cast on for the gauge, the pattern's actually for sport weight yarn and I'm using bulky, so that was always going to be the case regardless of what gauge I got. I just now have a number to calculate with. But then I finally remembered that these leg warmers do have ribbing at the tops and the bottoms. So rather than clutter this video up with another thing to learn, I'm going to do another video learning the ribbing, and hopefully we can start the leg warmers in that one. It will be a great project to practice on. So we're gonna do that in a separate video. And I think that's gonna do it for this one. So stay tuned for the next chapter in my knitting machine adventure, where I will be learning how to do the ribbing and hopefully then practicing with some leg warmers that are also a stash busting project I've had on my list for a couple of years. But yeah, we're not gonna tackle that just yet. Anyway, have a wonderful day. I will see you next time. Bye.
Are you biting it now? No, don't bite it. What are you, Toby?